Have you ever felt like your words disappear into the air, unnoticed, as if you're speaking to a crowd that can't hear you? You have big ideas, you're ready to take action, but something keeps holding you back, that fears you can't even see, doubts you can't escape. Why do some people speak and the room falls silent, their every word heard and valued, while others talk endlessly and are forgotten just as quickly? The difference isn't luck or privilege. It's control. The power to master yourself. Your thoughts, your words, your actions can turn your life into a force that demands attention. This isn't just philosophy, it's a practical skill, a mindset cultivated by warriors, philosophers, and leaders for thousands of years. This is Stoicism. 1. Speak with purpose. Your words are powerful, that they shape not only how others perceive you but also how you perceive yourself. Have you ever noticed that one person at the bar who talks endlessly, spinning tales of future triumphs and grand plans, only for everything to fade into nothing by morning? The alcohol wears off, the promises fade, and nothing changes. People chuckle, pat them on the back, but deep down they know. Empty words carry no weight. Words lose their power when they're tossed out carelessly, without meaning. Now think of the person who doesn't speak often, but when they do, everyone listens. Their words aren't wasted, they aren't rushed. They command attention because they are measured, thoughtful, and delivered with intention. This is the difference between speaking for the sake of speaking and speaking with purpose. Epictetus once said, "First, learn the meaning of what you say and then speak." It sounds so simple, but if we truly followed this advice, the world would be far quieter and far wiser. Most of the time, we speak before we fully understand our own words. When we're angry, we vent. When we're bored, we chatter. But do we ever stop to ask, is this necessary? There's a story about a father teaching his son the importance of words. Each time the boy said something thoughtless, he hammered a nail into a fence. Over time, the fence filled with nails. When the boy finally learned to hold back his words, the father asked him to remove the nails. But no matter how many nails he pulled out, the holes remained. The lesson? Words spoken without care may be retracted, but the damage they leave behind can never truly be undone. To speak with purpose, try listening twice as much as you speak. Pause before you speak, even in casual conversation. The best leaders don't need to shout. Their words carry weight because they speak when it matters. A true leader knows that silence can be just as powerful as speech. 2. Think clearly. Clarity is not simply about having the right thoughts. It's about knowing what is within your control and what is not. Have you ever found yourself arguing over something that, in the grand scheme of things, didn't really matter? Maybe it was a trivial disagreement about a parking spot, or a heated argument over something that, once you step back, seemed so insignificant. But the frustration lingers, the voices rise, and suddenly, a minor issue takes on a life of its own. Then one person walks away from the argument, calm and unaffected, while the other is left seething. Who came out on top? Not the one who won the argument, but the one who understood a fundamental truth. Some battles aren't worth fighting. This is what it means to think clearly. To practice Stoicism is to recognize that not everything requires a response, and not every conflict demands your attention. Life throws constant challenges our way, rude comments, aggressive drivers, or people who simply try to provoke us. But the Stoic mindset teaches that our strength lies in our ability to choose how we respond. Instead of letting every small irritation dictate your mood or actions, you have the power to remain unshaken. A strong person isn't the one who wins every battle. It's the one who knows when to stay silent, when to let go of trivial provocations, and when to conserve their energy for what truly matters. Think of the ancient warriors. It wasn't just their physical strength that made them powerful. It was their ability to control their impulses and think clearly in the heat of the moment. Next time you feel the urge to engage in a pointless debate or react to a trivial slight, take a breath. Ask yourself, is this really worth my time and energy? More often than not, the answer will be no. And in that moment of clarity, you'll realize that many of the problems that seem to trouble you are only problems because you choose to give them weight. 3. Act with power. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to act despite it. Think of a child learning to walk. They don't pause to think, what if I fall? They simply take the step. They trust that if they fall, they can get back up and try again. But as we grow older, fear becomes a constant companion. We hesitate, we procrastinate, we overthink. We tell ourselves, I'll act when I'm ready, but the truth is, waiting for the perfect moment can keep you stuck forever. Imagine a soldier standing on the battlefield. He doesn't wait until he feels ready to fight. When the enemy is at the gates, he moves forward regardless of his fear. Life is the same. Opportunities come and go, and they don't wait for you to feel fully prepared. You either act or you miss your chance. But here's the key: courage isn't recklessness. It's not about charging into every situation without thought. It's about assessing the risks, preparing as best as you can, and then taking that leap, even when the outcome is uncertain. The fear of failure can paralyze us, but avoiding fear doesn't make it go away. In fact, the more we avoid it, the stronger it becomes. Courage is like a muscle that the more you face fear, the stronger you become. So, how do you build courage? Start small. Speak up in a meeting even when you're nervous. Take that first step toward a goal, even when the path isn't clear. Put yourself in uncomfortable situations so you can learn to adapt and grow stronger. Remember the story of David and Goliath. David, a young boy with no armor or sword, stood before a giant, not with physical strength, but with courage and faith. He didn't wait for the fear to disappear. He acted in spite of it. The same is true for you. Your fears may seem insurmountable, but if you face them head on, you'll find that your courage is more powerful than you ever imagined. 4. The power of silence. Not every battle needs a response. In a world where everyone is eager to voice their opinions, there is tremendous power in silence. Think about it. When was the last time you were in a heated conversation and you didn't say anything? What happened? Did the world fall apart? Or did you just hold your ground, remaining calm and collected while others spiraled into chaos? Silence is often misunderstood as weakness or avoidance. But in reality, silence is a tool of strength, a way to assert control over your emotions and the situation. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoics, wisely wrote, "You always have the option of having no opinion." This doesn't mean you should never speak. It means there are moments where speaking only adds fuel to the fire. And in those moments, your ability to stay silent is the greatest show of strength. Think of your mind as a still lake. When a stone is thrown into it, the water ripples, but soon the surface returns to its calm state. Now, imagine if you kept throwing stones, if you kept reacting, arguing, and lashing out. You would never experience that calm. Some words are meant to provoke, some conversations bring no value. And some situations are best answered not with words, but with silence. There's a story of a man in an important meeting where the boss asked a difficult question. The room erupted into discussion as everyone tried to provide an answer. But one person remained silent, watching and listening. When everyone else had run out of things to say, he offered a simple yet sharp insight, an insight that became the turning point of the conversation. He didn't need to speak the most, but when he did, his words carried weight. This is the art of silence. It's not about hiding away or avoiding conflict. It's about knowing when to speak and when not to. It's about conserving your energy and focusing your attention on what truly matters. Next time you find yourself provoked, ask yourself, do I really need to respond? Can my silence speak louder than my words? 5. Master critical thinking. The mind is a powerful tool, but it can also be a deceiver. Have you ever been so sure about something only to find out later that you were completely wrong? Maybe you assumed someone didn't like you, only to discover they had no strong feelings about you at all. Or perhaps you dreaded an event, thinking it would be disastrous, only to find that it turned out much better than you ever imagined. This is the tricky nature of our thoughts, that they are not always aligned with reality. Stoicism teaches us not to blindly accept everything we think is truth. Our minds, influenced by emotions and biases, often distort our perception of reality. Imagine driving down a dark road at night, and you see something in the distance that looks like a large dog. Your heart races and you slam on the brakes, only to realize it's just a pile of leaves or a trash bag caught in the wind. That fear you felt was real, but the danger was a figment of your imagination. The same happens in our daily lives. How often do we assume someone's intentions based on a feeling rather than on fact? How many times have we made decisions based on emotional reactions rather than logical reasoning? To think clearly is to question everything, especially our own thoughts. Epictetus reminds us, don't believe everything you think. When a thought arises, whether it's about yourself or the world around you, challenge it. Ask yourself, is this thought based on evidence, or is it just an emotional reaction? It's not about doubting everything, but about learning to discern between what is true and what is simply the mind's projection. One way to train yourself to think critically is through the practice of inquiry. For every thought that comes to mind, question its validity. If you think, I'm not good enough, ask, is that really true, or am I just afraid of failure? If you believe, this person dislikes me, challenge that thought with evidence. What actions or words can you point to that prove it? This mental exercise helps you separate fact from fiction, allowing you to make decisions based on clarity rather than confusion. By questioning your thoughts, you not only free yourself from the tyranny of your emotions, but also sharpen your ability to navigate life with wisdom and confidence. 6. Act without fear. Fear is a natural part of life, but it should never dictate your actions. Imagine standing before a rickety old bridge, the wind howling through its gaps. On the other side lies something you've long desired, an opportunity, a chance for change, or a dream you've been waiting for. But the bridge sways and fear grips you. What if it breaks? What if you fall? That's how fear works. It whispers doubts, paralyzes your movements, and keeps you stuck in place. But here's the truth. The bridge doesn't collapse because you stand still. It collapses when you refuse to move. Courage is not about eliminating fear. It's about moving forward in spite of it. As Seneca wisely said, we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Think about the last time you hesitated to take action, fearing the worst. How much of that fear ever came to pass? Chances are, it was much less than you anticipated. The fear before taking action always feels stronger than the actual experience. Imagine the moment before you take a leap, whether it's in a career change, a difficult conversation, or trying something new. The hesitation feels unbearable, but once you take that first step, you realize that fear had no real power over you. A soldier entering battle may tremble, but after each encounter, they grow stronger and more capable. Fear only controls you if you allow it to. To build courage, don't wait for fear to disappear. It never will. Instead, focus on taking one small step. Break down the overwhelming task into manageable pieces. A big speech may seem terrifying, but what if you focus on just the opening line? A life-changing decision might feel intimidating, but what if you focus only on the first step? The more you face your fears, the more you'll realize that they are far less powerful than they appear. Courage isn't about recklessness. It's about understanding that fear is a signal that you are stepping into something meaningful. So, the next time fear tries to paralyze you, embrace it as a sign of growth, not as something to run from. Take that first step forward and watch as the fear fades away. 7. Speak to influence, not to impress. Words have power, but only when they are used with purpose. Too often we speak to impress others, to show how much we know, or to make ourselves seem important. But this approach only creates noise, not impact. The art of persuasion is not about showcasing your intellect or trying to dominate a conversation. It's about using your words to move others, to inspire action, and to create change. Imagine standing before a group of colleagues, trying to persuade them to adopt a new idea. If you start listing your achievements and grand plans, how likely are they to listen? Not very. But if you can place them at the heart of the story, if you can show them how your idea will benefit them, your words gain real power. Great speakers don't talk to impress, they talk to influence. They focus on the needs and emotions of their audience, making their message resonate deeply with those who hear it. Stoicism teaches us that everything we do, say, and think must serve a purpose. If you wish to improve, don't focus on appearing knowledgeable or smart. Instead, focus on what's truly valuable. On the wisdom of knowing when to speak and when to stay silent. As Epictetus said, if you wish to improve, be content to appear clueless or stupid in extraneous matters. The true power of speech lies not in how much you talk, but in the value and clarity of the words you choose. Next time you speak, ask yourself, am I speaking to impress or am I speaking to inspire change? When you shift your focus from proving yourself to moving others, your words will carry weight and make a lasting impact. 8. Think simply. Life doesn't have to be as complicated as we make it. Have you ever noticed how children see the world in the simplest of terms? When they're hungry, they eat. When they're sad, they cry. When they're happy, they laugh. No overthinking, no second guessing. But as we grow older, we start to complicate things. A simple decision like whether or not to take a new job becomes a mental maze of what ifs and what abouts. We get caught up in the noise of overanalyzing every possibility until the simplest choices become overwhelming. This is the trap of complexity. The more options we have, the more we hesitate. The more we try to figure everything out, the less we actually get done. It's like standing in front of a restaurant menu filled with too many choices, only to leave the place without eating because we spent too much time deciding. Simplicity, on the other hand, brings clarity. It allows us to focus on what truly matters. Think of a tree during winter. It doesn't hold on to every leaf. It sheds them to conserve energy for what is essential. The roots and the trunk. In the same way, we should learn to shed the unnecessary, the distractions, and focus on the core of the issue. To simplify your thinking, start by using the 3-step reduction rule. When faced with a decision, list the 3 most important factors, then eliminate the least important one. Cut out distractions and focus on what's truly essential. Ask yourself, does this really matter? Is this within my control? Am I complicating things more than necessary? When you stop holding on to every tiny detail, you'll find that life becomes simpler, clearer, and more focused. Legendary fighters don't win with flashy moves, that they win with the basics, honed through practice. The most successful people are not the ones who have the most knowledge. They're the ones who know how to focus on what truly matters and cut out the rest. 9. Self-discipline, the power of intentional action. Self-discipline isn't something you do when you feel motivated. It's something you do because it's necessary. Imagine a young boy who sets his alarm for 6 a.m. to wake up early and study. But when the alarm rings, he hits snooze thinking, just 5 more minutes. 5 minutes turn into 30, then an hour, and by the time he finally gets up, it's already too late. He rushes through his day telling himself, tomorrow I'll do better. But tomorrow is no different from today. What? Because he wasn't acting with intention. He was letting his feelings control his actions. Procrastination, hesitation, and lack of discipline are the traps that keep us from achieving our goals. Many people say they want success, but they waste their time on things that bring no real value. They say they want to be healthy, but they keep eating junk food and skipping workouts. They say they want to be productive, yet they spend hours scrolling through social media. The issue isn't a lack of ability, it's a lack of self-discipline. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Motivation is fleeting. It comes today and disappears tomorrow. If you only act when you feel inspired, you will stay stuck. The disciplined person doesn't wait for motivation to strike. They act regardless of how they feel. Marcus Aurelius once said, At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, I have to go to work as a human being. You don't wake up early because you feel like it. You do it because it needs to be done. You don't exercise because it's easy. You do it because your body needs to be strong. You don't work because it's fun. You do it because you are responsible for your own life. To develop self-discipline, first eliminate the mindset of, I'll do it if I feel like it. Instead, make a firm commitment, I'll do it regardless of how I feel. Then, make discipline part of your identity. Instead of thinking, I'm a procrastinator, tell yourself, I'm someone who acts with purpose. Finally, create constraints that force you to take action. If you want to exercise regularly, find a workout partner. If you want to read more, place books where you can see them. If you want to be productive, block distracting websites. Design your environment so that doing the right thing becomes the only option. When you master self-discipline, you stop caring about what others think of you. Your decisions aren't based on external validation, they're based on the principles you've set for yourself. And that's when true freedom begins. 10. Live by your values. Stop chasing approval. In today's world, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeking approval from others. We live for the compliments, the likes, the recognition. But what happens when the applause fades? What happens when the people you're trying to impress stop noticing you? You're left with a hollow feeling, chasing after validation that can never truly satisfy you. There's a story of a man who spent years saving up to buy a luxury watch. When he finally purchased it, he was ecstatic, not because he needed a watch to tell time, but because he wanted others to see it. He wanted the compliments, the admiration, the recognition. Yet, when no one was around to notice, the watch lost its value to him. The trap of validation is this: you don't truly enjoy what you have. You only enjoy how others react to it. Your life becomes a performance with everyone else as the audience, and the script is written by someone else. The Stoics understood something profound. True happiness isn't found in the approval of others, but in living with integrity. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoics, wrote, "It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own." It's ironic. We value ourselves most, yet we let others determine our worth. Think about children. When they are young, they laugh when they are happy, cry when they are sad, and sing without worrying if anyone is watching. As we grow older, we start adjusting ourselves to meet societal expectations. We choose careers, buy things, and make decisions not because they bring us true happiness, but because we want to be seen a certain way. Have you ever bought something not because you truly liked it, but because you thought others would admire you for owning it? If so, then you don't truly own that thing. You're renting it, hoping someone will validate your choice. But even if you receive that validation, it's never enough. Someone else will always have something better, more expensive, more impressive. The race for approval is endless, and it leaves you empty. The Stoics remind us that true happiness comes from living according to our values, not according to the expectations of others. Stop chasing approval and start living authentically. Do the right thing even when no one is watching. Choose a job you love even if others don't understand it. Wear what makes you comfortable even if no one compliments you. The greatest freedom comes from knowing that you don't need anyone's approval to feel whole. Remember, the world's recognition is fleeting, but the recognition of your own actions, based on your values, will give you lasting peace and fulfillment. Now that you've learned these powerful Stoic principles, it's time to take control of your life. Speak with purpose, think with clarity, and act with strength. These are the keys to mastering your mind and your actions. This video resonated with you, show some love. Hit that like button to remind yourself of today's lesson, and share it with someone who could use this wisdom in their life. Your support helps others find this message, and you never know, your share might be the nudge someone needs to take their first step towards transformation. Comment below with which Stoic principle you're going to apply today, and how you plan to make it a part of your life. I'd love to hear your stories and thoughts. And if you want to keep growing with us, Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell so you never miss out on more videos that will help you live with purpose and clarity. Remember, the world is full of noise, but your thoughts and actions can be powerful. Now is the time to take charge. Let's make this journey together.